Do all of your campaigns end like this? Does everybody in your court hate you? Are you always broken in the negative? Are you over your domain limit? Are none of your castles making money? If any of these things happen to you in your campaigns, you're not alone. These are the top 10 tips and tricks I wish I knew if I started playing CK3 again. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel out a ton and it's free. And let's get right into the video. Tip number 10 is slow down. This game at its core is a marathon. It's not a sprint when you first start. The more hours you get, the more you can speed up the play speed. But at the beginning, you want to play it at, I suggest 2 to 3 speed. But once you get to the point where you can play 5, I personally, I have around 700 to 1,000 hours. I play at 5 speed 24/7. But I pause a lot. Event comes up, pause. A war starts, pause. Anything eventful happens, it's an immediate pause. So, for example, say a war starts and you need to figure out who you're at war with, why you're at war with them, this and that. If you don't pause, they're going to start attacking you before you even gather yourself, before you even call your alliances in. Pause. So until you get to the point where you're comfortable being able to always be playing at 5 speed, just 2-3 speed, pause constantly, and just get used to it. You know, you could be playing at a 5 speed when you first start. A faction could start, an event could start stacking up. You could notice that your schemes aren't even starting. It just will get to be too much, and you could just, you could die unexpectedly. And speaking of dying unexpectedly, that leads us into tip 9. Your spy master controls your life. Low intrigue means high murder chances, high scheme chances. So make sure on your council when you're picking that spy master that they have a high intrigue. I suggest 13 and above, 12, 13 above puts them in that good mark. That's usually how I always build my characters out. But swear your spy master, marry your spy master. Make sure you always have good favor with your spy master, because I've noticed every playthrough where my spy master likes me, where he or she has a high level of intrigue, I'm fine. I never die from murder, nothing. I don't even remember in the past, probably from 200 hours plus. It's kind of crazy. It did take me 200 hours to learn this, but I don't even remember. I don't think I've ever died from murder. So it matters a lot more than you think, and it kind of relates to all the council. Make sure your council members are good at what they do. Crusader Kings 3, being paranoid, it's healthy. It's healthy to win. Tip number 8, check succession immediately. This is core content of the game. Who gets your land? When you die, obviously your land has to go to other people, and the main goal is you want all of your land to go to your direct heir, the child you've been training from the minute they've been born. You're training them on a special skill, a special trait, something like that. You want the land to go to them. So be careful of what your succession type is. Your best friend is primogenitor. There are different ways to get this. I'm a cheater. I use mods. But if you don't want to use mods, you can disinherit. You can ask to take vows. You can have accidents to your other children. Things like that. And if you want to learn how to do this, this is how you change your succession type. So yes, your succession type is very, very important. Succession is the real final boss in Crusader Kings 3. Tip number 7. Alliances are early game armor. It is a lot easier to defend in a war than it is to be on the offense. So make sure when you first start those alliances with your first daughter, with court members, get them married for alliances. Alliances are not for fun. They need to be calculated, unless you're like a role player, but these tips are kind of for min-maxers. But don't rely on alliances forever. People die, people get murdered, yada yada yada. So don't rely on them, but always pay attention to them. Just remember, in that first offensive war that you take, a 2,000 troop alliance could be the difference in your entire war. Tip number 6, gold is king. There's a lot of things in this game that depend on gold, obviously. Mercenaries, soldiers, buildings, paying people off, paying people to like you. Gold is so much more important than people think. You could ransom prisoners for money. You can host feasts for money and try to get gifts. Don't overspend. Build economic buildings. A lot of people don't realize that gold is really your best friend in this game. Gold, prestige, those numbers and those currencies at the top right of your screen matter a lot more than you think. Speaking of gold and economic buildings, that brings us to our next tip number 5. Build your economy first. Build farms, fields, trade ports, manor houses, windmills if you can. This game is really just a snowball of money. It's a play style called playing tall. A great example of this is Ireland. You can start as a duke in Ireland, and you can take over all of Ireland in about maybe 15 to 20 minutes of playtime. I have a video on that. I have had times where I've played in just Ireland, haven't expanded at all, for over 6 hours of gameplay, to the point where I'm making nearly 200 gold per month. That is just a taste of what I mean by your economy. Build your economy. Invest in your personal holdings. 0.5 gold doesn't look like much until you're 100 years later and things are costing hundreds of thousands of golds to do. So just keep that in mind. It's a snowball. It's a snowball effect. So how many of these things are you guys actually doing? If these top 5 tips that I've explained, you guys do them, you don't think they're really beginners, let me know in the comments for next time. Maybe I'll do another reroll of the video. These next 5 tips are what separates stable rulers from Civil War simulators. Tip number 4. Control is hidden power. There is nothing worse than you being in a war of your lifetime. You've been in this war for 20 years. Your troops are depleted. Supplies are running low. And boom, out of nowhere, a rebellion. There's nothing worse than this, because now you have to split your troops up and fight on multiple fronts, and it's just a nuisance. So I'm telling you, do not conquer more land until you're ready to conquer more land, because the more land you take, the more control you have to have, and it's just going to be rebellion after rebellion after rebellion after rebellion. So just lock into what you have, make sure it's stable before you keep going. Speaking of controlled conquering, that leads us into tip 3. Don't overexpand. Each conquest creates new vassals, cultural differences, control issues, succession complications. There is so much to expanding your empire. You have to worry about if the other culture likes you. They'll pay you less tax if they don't like you. If you're not the main ruler of the title history, they will pay you less taxes. There's a lot more that actually goes into it under, like, in the code of the game than actually, you can see. So just make sure, if you plan to conquer more land and expand, make sure you're ready for it. Make sure you have everything ready. Make sure your troops are already completely recompiled, because don't forget, when you conquer, you have to go to war. So you need to be ready for the cost of war. So just keep that in mind also. Tip number 2. Manage vassals before factions form. Powerful vassals, they expect council positions. They expect you to like them. They expect you to give them good terms. There's a lot of different things you can do to make them like you without giving them council positions. You don't always have to do that. It just hits you with a huge opinion negative modifier. So things you can do: gift them gold, grant them minor titles, use your sway, give them other things that they want, attack a claim for them. There's a lot of things you can do before they form a faction. But if you get to the point where they do form the faction, there's also a lot of other things you can do. Force an alliance with a marriage, take a hostage, gift them gold so they start to like you more. Titles again. There's a lot of different opinion modifier things you can do to force them out of that faction. Civil wars don't start suddenly. It's always in the faction window. Just keep an eye on that. And this leads us to tip number 1. Pick the right start date. There are so many start dates that are difficult. For example, 1066 England. You have Harold Hardrada versus Normandy versus Norway. It is one of the hardest start dates. You have 866. You have Ivar the Boneless with Ayla in Northumbria. There are so many start dates that are just not good for new players. If you want an easy start, pick 1066 Ireland, any of the Dukes. It's a wonderful start. Even 866 is a pretty fun start. You have Bohemia, anywhere in Bohemia, strong Dukes in a large empire. Have that cushion of an empire to learn the game. The one thing I do not recommend to do is do not create your own characters when you just start. It makes it so much harder when you have to figure out where to put the perks, where to do this, where to do that. Just pick a character that's already made for you and build from there. Have a clear goal, manageable size, and you'll be fine. Starting as a tiny count surrounded by Vikings is fun once you understand what you're doing, but it's just going to lead to a rage quit after a rage quit after a rage quit. Well, that leads us to tip number bonus round. I really suggest using mods. I know a lot of people don't enjoy using mods their first time playing a game, but I think Crusader Kings 3 gets enhanced so much by mods. You can have Primogenitor without requirements. You can have the Knight Manager, more Vassals interactive. There's just so many mods I use in every single playthrough for the whole 700 hours I've been playing the games. Or you can count in Lord of the Rings mod. You can count in a Game of Thrones. Or, you have Elden Kings. All these other mods that add so much flavor to the game. It is an amazing game, really. So just keep your eye out on mods. They're really good. I think they enhance the game a lot more than people give the credit for. So yeah, that leads us to the end of the video. Those are my top 10 tips plus one extra that I think all new players should know in Crusader Kings 3. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a ton, and it's free. And have a good rest of your day, night, morning, wherever you are in the world. Peace out.